I thought I'd grab a cup of coffee while AI does the heavy lifting. Now, it's going to do all the manual work behind the scenes. And guess what? If you're working in a company, it can actually write your board report while your CFO is drinking her cup of coffee, just like me. Sounds fantastic, but AI cannot hold the room. It can't get that project across the line. It can't influence the stakeholders. It can't reassure people in a time of crisis. So now more than ever, I believe that the presence gap needs to go on the risk register. I'm pretty new saying this. So most people are not even considering presence risk. But you see, leaders perform differently in stable conditions and crisis conditions. I left my CEO role last year, and now I have the privilege of working with leaders to get them ready to bridge the presence gap. We put on the risk register financial risk, safety risk, but we don't put presence risk. And the truth is, we're in unprecedented times. The change in AI is dramatic, it's fast, and it's going to change everything in the business sector. So what I'm doing is getting leaders ready. And I'm going to take you through what we do when I coach individuals and companies for great success. I want to talk to you about the hidden costs of the presence gap. Now, here's what the data tells us about this gap. Executive careers that derail because of emotional competency issues, not technical flaws, not skill gaps, not market shifts. It's the thing inside of them that makes the difference, the presence. Leaders with strong business IQ are actually 40% more likely to successfully drive structural change. 40%. That's the difference between a transformation that lands and a transformation that costs you a quarter of the trust of your people. Wow. A quarter of the trust of your people. But I want to tell you that those leaders that are anchored with high EQ, well, their performance is 20% higher output, right? So that means that you've got the same human, same people with the same resources, just a different leader at the top, okay? So unanchored leadership creates a massive void and an organizational drag. What happens is you get really slow decisions, you get weaker teams, faster burnout, and almost none of this shows up on the balance sheet until it's already cost you money, right? So we've seen it, haven't we? We've promoted the highly technical leader, and it's great to start off with, and then it plateaus. And then you start to look at your culture reports, and you start to look at other bits of information and data, and you go, what's happening in this company? If I was a board member, I'd be looking at what's happening in the company. But when you have a leader with high EQ, then what happens is that your net promoter score increases, your client satisfaction increases. Think about it. You've got someone highly competent in skills base, and they want to roll out a new program with AI. They're going to be really focused on the competencies and the skills and the productivity. Somebody with high EQ is going to do all of that, but they're going to factor in the emotional cost, and they're going to mitigate the risks. That's why the presence gap has to go on the risk register. So we just talked about two leaders, same title, same resume, completely different operating system. The firefighter is unanchored and the strategic architect is anchored. Watch what changes, right? So let's think about this from the operational mode. The firefighter is reactive. So they've set their system in place and they're just going to put the fires out. They're constantly performing a version of themselves they think is expected from everybody. But the strategic architect is contagiously calm. Their leadership is who they are, not a role they step into. So in the boardroom, the firefighter speaks immediately to prove competence and manage the impressions around the room. But the strategic architect perceives, observes, and commands the energy of the room before they say a single word. Decision making. The firefighter is paralyzed by complexity. They rely purely on technical frameworks, whereas the strategic architect is decisive under ambiguity because their anchored identity dictates clear, high-value decisions. Team impact. The firefighter commands compliance and drives burnout. The strategic architect commands respect naturally and unlocks the full capacity and the joy of the team. And here is the part that matters. Most leaders are not firefighters because they lack skill. They're firefighters because nobody has ever moved the identity underneath. Strategic architect is not a personality type you have to be born with. It's an identity you can be built into. The cognitive part of leadership, the analysis, the frameworks, the carefully constructed argument that got your leaders to the table, is being actively commoditized. Now, what remains as the only leadership edge that cannot be automated is the capacity to genuinely, unmistakably be human in a high-stakes room. That capacity is the new ceiling, and it's built from one place, from identity. So let's look at how we work with individuals. How would we work with you? How would I work with you? We call it the Anchor Program, and it's executive coaching. In phase 1, we diagnose and reposition. We do the EBW assessment and we debrief you. We then rewrite your executive CV and your LinkedIn profile through the identity anchoring lens, because the words you use about yourself are the first place that identity leaks. We develop a career and a pathway strategy and a written 90-day leadership plan tailored for your role. In phase 2, we sharpen and apply. Now, what we do here is 6 monthly one-to-one coaching sessions, executive presence, boardroom communication, media, and stakeholder craft. In phase 3, we embed and lead. So this is monthly one-to-one sessions again, with email support in between sessions, quarterly recalibration, and live challenge support. The hard moment, the people decision, the noisy day. You don't have to wait till next month's session. You can text me. We will solve it together. Now, if you're a chair, a CEO, head of people and culture, and you're thinking, this isn't just for me, this is for the leaders I'm responsible for, I've got something for you too. And it's called the Inner Executive System. And it's the corporate version of everything I've just walked you through. We come into your company and we do the pre-work, the diagnostic. So every participant completes the EBW Business EQ assessment, and they're benchmarked against 5,000 senior leaders globally. Before they walk into the room, this is done. They arrive with their report in their hand, ready to engage immediately. Phase 2. This is a full day intensive, 9 to 5, rigorous, facilitated deep dive training. We replace the surface level training with identity reconstruction. 8 to 16 participants, 20 maximum, to keep the depth and intimacy that this work requires. It's delivered on site, at your premises, or your preferred venue. And in phase 3, the integration. This is the delivery of personalized EBW debriefs and a concrete, customized 90-day action plan for each participant. So, what happens on the day? 6 modules, really cleverly designed. We start with identity anchoring the foundation, moving from performing leadership to living it. And each leader leaves with their leadership identity statement, the one sentence that changes everything. We do mindset, remapping what limits performance, shifting permanently from imposter system to inner authority. Then we look at executive presence, closing the presence gap, mastering the body, voice, and energy signals, the commands boards and rooms. Then we look at priorities and decisions, the identity-aligned matrix, building personal systems that cut through complexity and protect energy. We look at high-performance culture, closing the performance connection, building teams that bring full capability, not just compliance. And the final multiplier, communication. Communicating from identity, not from position. storytelling as a leadership tool, the 90-day action plan that walks out of the room with your leaders. If you're a senior leader, I'm sure that you've noticed yourself somewhere on this spectrum, from firefighter to strategic architect. Maybe you've been sitting in your role knowing that you need to embody a newer you, someone who has that stronger EQ, just like I did 20 years ago. So if that's you and you feel like you want some help to navigate the complexities of AI and really step into your executive presence, right? Authentic executive presence, then book a call. Let's have a real conversation and let's help you anchor into your pathway, into where you want to be. If you're a chair, a CEO, a head of people and culture, and you can see your executive team in what I've described today, and you want to bring the inner executive system to your organization, then book a presentation. The link's in the description below. The leaders who will matter most in the next 3 years will make people feel steadied just by their presence, not by what they say, but who they are when they walk in the door. This is the work.